Hello one and all, and welcome to Behind the Glass, your weekly automotive podcast hosted by two rather uninformed enthusiasts.
No.
I'm Sam from the YouTube channel Seen Through Glass.
I'm Tony from Gravelwood Car Sales.
And you can watch us each week. We hope you enjoy the episode. I feel like we've got two big cars to discuss this week.
Well, one of them is naturally just really big.
Physically large.
Physically big.
Actually, the other one's very small. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, two, they just feel very important for the automotive industry.
Yeah. Really?
Well, let's get into it. Because this week, we kind of want to kick things off by discussing the Tesla Cybertruck.
Yeah.
Or maybe just the Cybertruck, because we're going to get into... Well, the fact that that car's got no Tesla branding on it, did you know that?
I didn't know, no.
Yeah. And the Gordon Murray T.50, because first reviews of both cars are now out.
Yeah.
Two of the most talked about automobiles of the last 12, 18, 24 months.
Are they?
Yeah, I think so. At least in our world. Like,
okay.
Cybertruck, the minute it launched, headlines everywhere, people going like, what the hell is this? That kind of like famous clip of Elon, bashing the bulletproof glass with the sledgehammer and smashing it. And then also the Gordon Murray T.50 kind of being heralded as, this last great thing, the next F1. Anyway, so I just feel like both those cars a lot has been spoken about them before they've actually ever really been produced.
Isn't it amazing that two of the most talked about cars in our world, as in our small little automotive world, but if you ask the general public what either of them cars were, they go, I don't know what you're talking about.
I disagree,
Well,
I think Gordon Murray T.50 100%, like, my sister has no idea what that is.
Yeah, she's the general public.
Tesla Cybertruck? I disagree.
Really?
I think firstly, everyone's heard of Tesla, right? Like, nowadays, that is a home-known brand, Tesla.
Yeah.
And the Cybertruck got so much crazy attention on the launch because of that fail with Elon trying to smash the glass, or not smash the glass and smashing it. And I think it got posted everywhere that, okay, fine, my sister might not know what a Cybertruck is, but if I showed her a picture, she'd probably go, oh yeah, I saw that. If I showed her a picture of a T.50, she's going to go, what? But if I showed her a picture of a Cybertruck, she's going to go, oh, I saw that on TikTok, actually.
Do you think?
Yeah, because it was a TikTok social media viral thing,
right?
Which I think placed it in front of
quite
people.
a lot of people aren't on social media. What about just a normal human being?
Who is not on social media?
Well, there's a lot of people. There's a big. Not even my generation. So my generation up, which is quite a lot of the country, mate, aren't on social media. They couldn't give a.
My mum's on Instagram. My dad's on Instagram.
But I bet they don't scroll like you and Paul Wallace.
No, but they're on it.
But they're not suggested Cybertrucks.
I disagree. Shall we ask my mum right now? Shall I send her a photo saying, do you know what this is?
Yeah. She goes, I've never seen anything so ridiculous all my life.
Anyway, which one? Hold on a sec.
Oh, no, it's your mum.
This could be my i5.
Oh.
That is the delivery of my i5 M60. I'm excited to get home now.
Drive it down, did they?
They delivered it on a truck.
Oh.
No, but to be fair, they
delivered
the F-Pace SVR on a truck as well.
Right.
So,
Okay.
You love that because you're like, they couldn't have driven it because they would have run out of battery.
Buy an electric, but we're going to tow it everywhere with a combustion car.
I'm excited. I'm excited to get home now. That's quite. I'm a bit buzzy.
It is a mega car, to be fair.
Very cool car. And it's, you know what? That's one of the biggest perks of my job is a press car delivery day.
Do you want an exclusive as well?
What?
And I've literally just decided. If I was to actually go out and buy an electric car today, it'd be that car.
Oh, wow.
Genuinely.
That is exclusive.
Because I think even I don't think you need the big, powerful one. I think you could have the smaller powered one that's got a bit more range,
I
right?
agree.
Oh, okay, fine.
I mean, I don't know yet. I haven't, it's sitting there waiting for me to go and find out. But
we've both driven that car and we both liked it. And but I genuinely think it's as good as a Taycan Turbo.
I think it's better. I just said it. There you go.
And less money.
You've barely. Well, and in terms of new versus used, I mean, because it is better. I mean, you're thinking of the Taycan Turbo S. You're thinking,
it's 150 grand.
Yeah, fair.
You wouldn't have wanted to pay 150 grand, about 50 grand now.
Literally.
Yeah.
There are Taycans around for.
You know about the battery problems with them, didn't you?
Let's not get into this.
Okay, fine.
So let's go back to our big two cars. Where do you want to start? Tesla or Gordon Murray?
Well, I don't really know what to do, really.
Come on.
It's like saying, do you want
No.
your left or your right arm cut off?
Pick one.
Let's go Gordon Murray.
Oh,
because,
great. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Now, if you are new to this podcast, or maybe you've been dropping in and out,
How dare you?
we haven't been overly positive about the T50.
No.
You know, we have found opportunities to be a little bit rude and mean about it. And,
Yeah.
and also, I guess, disregard it, haven't we? We've kind of just gone like, ugh, the T50.
Which is surprising from you because on the face of it, on paper, that is perfect for you, that car. A manual V12, lightweight, pile of poo.
You have just summed up exactly why I have been a bit iffy about this car.
Right, wow.
Because, okay, look, let's pull the cover back. Let's reveal all.
Okay.
I've ordered, no.
Yeah, can you imagine? I've got one outside.
The reason I have personally been a bit perturbed by that kind of bit, just like dismissive and like whatever, is exactly because of what you just said.
Okay.
Essentially, that car was unveiled as a load of numbers on a piece of paper. And it felt like the automotive world on social media, people around me just went, best car ever made.
I agree.
And look, you're right. On paper, the recipe is fantastic.
I disagree.
Sure.
Okay.
It was fantastic to a certain person.
Yeah.
You know, but this was from an automotive company who hadn't really made anything for a very long time. From, of course, an icon and a legend within the automotive world, but again, who hadn't really made anything for a very long time. And at the time it was announced, it was all just stats and things on a piece of paper. And I just wanted us all to just wait for a second.
Calm down.
Yep. And wait until we got what we have now got, which is a Top Gear-like review, which is being released. I believe they're the only journalists in the world to drive it. I think some customers have at least experienced it or driven it out on track. But we've got this one stunning video on TopGear.com.
Very well put together, yeah.
Unbelievably well put together.
Yeah.
Now the Top Gear main show's being axed. You
They
can
got
see
a few quid.
all the budgets going through online, which I'm very happy about.
Yeah.
Yes, if you're getting productions like that, then we're good. But that's why I personally, and maybe it was a bit childish of me, and I know a lot of you got really upset that we were so dismissive about the T50, but I just was like, come on, guys. Like, anyone in the world could have said, and I think I made this point before, I'm going to be building a 7-litre V12 that revs to 19,000 RPM, which has 1,500 horsepower, manual gearbox, and looks like a Zonda. And everyone's going to go, oh my God, it's going to be the best car in the world. But I might
change your mind.
Well, I might never actually deliver it.
Yeah.
Or I might change it before it actually turns up. The ethos might differ. The cost might change. The end product might be crap. So that's why I was being a bit childish about it. But look, now we have a point of reference. Now we can actually discuss in detail what has been said and what has been delivered. And the final, actually, was it the final? No, because it wasn't even a final production car, actually.
It was
They drove the final prototype.
Correct.
So there was still, I guess, some things to be figured out. I don't feel like we got too much insight into livability. Like, they spoke about a few things. The key is massive and pretty ugly. I thought that was weird.
Yeah, very light though, apparently.
But still,
good.
I have been told it's because the Gordon Murray or the Gordon Murray team dislike losing keys in pockets.
Right.
That kind of thing, like, oh, where's my key? So they went for a really big key. Now, that's like one person's problem, like solving one person's problems for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, I think the key was too big, even though it's supposed to be light. So, and I still don't love the way it looks. I'm going to come out and say that. I really don't love it. I think it's very uninventive looks-wise. It's not a shape that you're necessarily your jaw's not going to hit the floor. It's not going to be a shape that maybe... I don't know. I just don't.
Well, that depends on who's looking at it,
Of
mate.
course.
I would agree with you, but some people out there will say it's the best looking car ever.
Some other things which I picked up on, which, again, until I've experienced the car, who knows, but the gear, lever and control system which is to the driver's right knee, obviously leans into the right passenger footwell.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting to understand how comfortable that would be for the passenger.
Which you've got to climb over to get in to drive.
You've got to climb over to get, well, I guess you can get in from the other side as well, so you can don't have
If
to
you've
hit
got
the
a passenger
gear
on the
lever.
other side, you've got to climb over them.
Well, you wait for the passengers to get in. You wait for you to get in before the passengers get in. That's a three-seater car thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's a few things that I would have liked to have known about in terms of, like...
Well, my van was 3-seater. I didn't have to wait for the passengers to get in. I just
No,
got in.
but this is annoying.
It's not.
What you're talking about now, if you're going to have a central driving position,
Right.
of course you're going to have to make a compromise on terms of entry and exit. That is for sure. But,
Okay.
name me another 3-seater supercar.
Name me another £2.5 million car where you got to make a compromise to get in.
Oh, almost all of them.
not that
Literally
compromise.
almost all of them.
Not
P1 in Australia. I mean, I was bloody bumped my head 50 million times.
Did you have to ask your passenger to get out to get in?
No, but it's not a 3-seater car. I couldn't have 2 passengers with me.
Talking about value now.
No, but no. This I think is silly because that is value. The fact that you can fit 2 mates with you, that is added value. I would pay for that, let alone everything else.
We have such a different time.
No, because for me, you're
Got
sitting
2
there.
mates. I ain't got 2 mates. I've only got 1.
There you go.
You'll
that's
sit
that
next to
answer.
him.
But if you are going three up in a T.50 or a McLaren F1 or a Speedtail or the Dramera, so Speedtail F1 or T.50, the driver gets in first, then your mates get in.
Right, okay.
And when you arrive somewhere, your mates get out first, then you get out. Like, simple, done. So, long story short, it's the engine seems to sound incredible. I
agree.
wonder, because what was the red line? 12 or 14? 12? 12? Oh, God.
It's definitely 12. It might
Internet's
be
going to eat
14.
me
Yeah.
alive now. Anyway,
It's around there.
Internet's not going to be happy about that.
What?
That we forgot what the red line is. But I wonder... Do you, our cars, GT3s, it's all about that final 500 RPM, isn't it?
It's not. I think it's all about the final 2,000 revs.
Fine.
But
okay, but you're always you want to be up there.
You're chasing it, yeah.
And so I'd be interested to understand, is that the desire? Like, when you drive that car, do you always want to be up there? Because first, I guess you have to be really fast to get up there. And secondly, does that mean that you just drive like a hooligan, like you just revving it out the whole time?
I would think so, looking at the video. And this is an opinion on what I've seen video, because I've not driven the car. I've not even seen one in the flesh. So it's a reserved opinion, a review of what I've seen on the internet. No different to anyone else. The thing that I picked up on it straight away was how many gears you have to shift down to actually get the thing to rev. And then at that point, how fast are you going? I mean, you're going over the speed limit at that point.
Which I guess is the problem for all hypercars. But that would be my concern, is that you would just always be chasing that red line. You would want to be up there the whole time.
That full red line. And what, is it, and I'm asking a question here, I'm not saying because I don't know, is it that special at 30 mile an hour?
Good question.
Like a Ferrari, like we always say, you're getting a Ferrari. It's and similar to a Lambo as well. It feels special at 30 mile an hour. Does that car give you that feeling, or does it only give you that feeling when you're right up in the rev range and the engine's shaking and the chassis doing that, and you got that piercing noise? But at that point, I mean, you're going way too fast, I would think, for the road.
I would guess the central driving position and manual gear lever would give you a point of difference and an involvement. But it's an interesting question to ask. I think, look, I'm not here trying to dig myself out of a hole, and maybe some of you going like, oh, here they go, changing their minds now.
I haven't changed my mind.
Yeah, we'll come back to you in 2 seconds. But I mean, I think it's that thing where I just wanted to wait until this moment, until we had someone that we trusted and we thought was credible, and which Ollie Q massively is, that we could go, okay, what are the initial impressions? Of course, I think he was probably, it would be a bit like me getting in an Enzo or a LaFerrari or the 911 ST. I think he went into it already loving it before he'd driven it, but I don't really care. I trusted what he was telling me, and I liked what he was telling me, and it was interesting and insightful. Until any of us actually experience it, it's going to be hard to know truly what it is. But as I say, that's what was going on for me. I have a not resolution. God, I'm struggling.
Reservation.
With my summary. But before we get there, go on then. So, what were your thoughts? You have genuinely despised this car since it was created. You weren't holding anything back. You just don't like the concept at all.
I mean, that sort of car doesn't appeal to me anyway. So I can't afford it, firstly. So I dismiss it anyway in my head. And even if I could afford it, it would be the last one I'd buy. Oh, I just probably wouldn't even buy it. Now, there's obviously a lot of hype around. It was Gordon Murray designed, and I get that, and this man's a genius. And also I get that he can be perceived to be a genius. Mm-hmm. But in my view, on how I overview a car, is a genius is someone that makes a car for everyone, makes a performance car that suits everyone. This car is very, very specific to a certain person, essentially, and it's a lot of money. And I understand because he's not making volumes. Also, he already had the template because it's largely not too dissimilar to the car that he designed 25, 30 years ago, being the McLaren F1. He just copied and pasted it and made it a bit more modern. And fair enough if that was a concept that worked, but you all know how I feel about the McLaren F1. I think that's a pile of poo as well. So I'm probably not the best person to ask from that respect. But there were some things that I took from Ollie, and I have nothing against Ollie or what he does. And the journalists, they have a very, very hard job in the fact that I'm not criticising anyone, and I'm not. Okay. But I really, in general, don't listen to journalists. In general, I like to experience stuff for myself, but I appreciate they have a very hard job and they have to, portray how they feel and how they see things straight from the start, and they have to get a feeling very quickly, which is good. But there were some contradicting things in there that I thought, flipping hell. Like he mentioned Lotus, like it drives, it feels like a Lotus for £2.5 million. What is one of the best driving cars ever? No, I think he said it's the best driving car ever, and it feels like a Lotus. So what you're trying to say to me is either a Lotus is the best driving car ever for £40,000, which is a bargain then at that point, or this T.50 thing is a flipping fortune for £2.5 million.
I mean, I think you summed it up. This is a car that is aimed in completely the wrong direction for you. Like the fact that, as you say, they're
lost on me.
Making any comparison to a Lotus, which, as you say, for you is red flag.
We could have said Porsche.
For me is green flag. Yeah. So it's not your kind of thing. But what were there any positive, were there any surprises? Was there anything you went, oh, you know what? I didn't think it was going to do that, or that actually is better than I thought it would be. Anything that kind of won you round slightly? Or that made you think, I wouldn't mind having a go in that, actually?
Well, I wouldn't mind having a go in it. Whether I'd like it or not are two different things. I probably wouldn't. But there was a couple of other things I picked up on that in the real world, it's a bit flawed, as in you can't have lift. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate you demonstrated it went over a speed hump completely fine. So do most Ferraris, to be fair. A lot of Ferraris, people do have lift, but you don't really need them. Apart from the fact when you go down a really steep hill or you live up a really steep incline, as in then
driveways,
whatever. Yeah. You do genuinely need lift.
Entrance and exits from petrol stations.
Some of them are really, really ingraded inclines. Yeah. So, that was a little bit of a flaw. I genuinely, mate, do think that the central driving zone, as cool as it might be, I do think it's a gimmick. I think, if it was that special, all cars would be central driving zone. I think it's a little bit of for me, it's a gimmick. In the real world, it doesn't work. But I understand why it would be okay in that car, because it's only for a specific kind of person. and there's not going to be many of them around. And actually, does it really bother that person that, you know?
I don't think it's about bothering. I think it's aiding. I think the central driving position experience in a honed car, McLaren F1, Speedtail, T.50, I'm sure there'll be a few that we're not mentioning. There was some old cars that copied it. Enhances the on-road experience because you are in the center of the car, so you're positioning. And so I don't think it's, oh God, I got to put up with this. Like, it's not just so you can fit 2 passengers in.
I get that. I completely understand. And then the other argument would be, well, you know, it has a similar sensation to driving an F1 car because you're in the centre of an F1 car, but every other car, really, you're either the left or the right of it. And really, does that really matter? It really, in the real world, I understand an F1 car, you sort of got to be in the middle of it. And then some other cars, and they're really track focused, you'd be in the middle as well. But that's the last place you want to take that car, on a track, by the way.
Why?
Well, actually, to experience the performance, maybe you'd want to take it on a track, but to buy it for that reason, well, there's a million other cars that are way better than that, that would be way better than that car on a track.
Well, let's get into that for a second, because that's kind of where my summary goes to. I think you could make that claim about a lot of these hypercars. Pagani Huayra, for example.
Terrible.
Well, it actually surprised me a little bit when I went out on track at the Pirelli experience.
You went out with a proper driver there, didn't you?
I went out with a proper driver.
Yeah.
And, you know, all of these things, when you start to get into lap times and handling and balance, like, they're all slightly flawed because they don't all do one thing better than the other. You know, some are built to be GT cars, some are built to be what you just said you wanted, everyday usable cars, a car for the everyman. You know, some are super track focused weapons. So, like, it really differs. And
yeah,
I think that car is being positioned as a road car, the T.50. I think it's being positioned as a road car.
It's a sports car as well. It's not a GT car. Yeah. It's a sports car.
To be driven on the roads like they did on Top Gear. I'm sure to get all of those revs, you need to be on track, and that would be a special experience. But yeah, I assume great European or great twisty mountain roads is where that car's going to be at its best, theoretically. But £2.8 million, I think the price is here in the UK. Now, a lot of people are proclaiming it, and a lot of the stuff that we were like, oh, guys, come on, you know, the last great analog car. This is the greatest car. No other car in the world. All of these things that people were proclaiming before a car had even been in the hands of anyone except people from the factory. This is the stuff that we were getting perturbed by. But also, even now, at that price point, and given, well, just that one review that we've seen, if you had, let's just say £2.5 million, because let's face it, I think most people are going to be paying close to 3 by the time you've painted it and done all the nice bits. Let's say 2.5. I think there are some stonking other cars, nearly new, barely new, old, modern classics, that will give you just as much of a thrill on a public road. I mean, you're going to hate me for saying this, but just the Carrera GT. I mean, it's not a wholly dissimilar experience. Okay, that car is now what? Are we 20 years old for the Carrera GT? We must be approaching that.
Must
be getting there.
Is it 03, 04?
It's not 05 Carrera GT?
Yeah.
Something like that. So,
20 years old,
so we must be approaching 20 years for Carrera GT. But in terms of on-road experience, and I'm talking about public roads where you do have to watch your overall speed, you're never going to be able to get the maximum out of it, you're going to get a pretty similar oral and visceral experience. Okay, is the steering going to be as good? Probably not. They said the damping was very impressive. The suspension was very impressive. Though I'm sure that T.50 behind the wheel is a very impressive thing. But for that money, if I was in that world, I think there would be a lot of other cars that I would look at just because, as I say, I don't love the way it looks. And as much of an icon as Gordon Murray is, and as much as we must celebrate him as an engineer and as a designer, all these different things like that,
fair.
I personally have more, more allegiance to some more established brands. And I think a lot of his customers are people who are wanting, you know, the next thing. This is the next. This car is going to be seen one day as the F1 has seen now, or as many other greats. You know, it's the next chapter. I want to be part of this next chapter. I want to be part of this. That's totally fair enough. I get it. But for me, I don't know what. At £2.5 million, yeah, F40, Carrera GT. I don't know, a handful of other cars that I think I would get that same visceral, out there experience And yeah, not necessarily.
And actually, do you know what? If we flip it on its head and play devil's advocate, have I underestimated him slightly? And maybe he is more genius than what I think he is, in terms of, as he looked at the market and gone, well, I can't build a Bugatti Chiron rival or an Aston rival. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my roots and I'm going to build a modern 30-year-old car. And that's because I can't compete with them big boys. I'm never going to sell the car. No one's going to buy it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rev it up. I'm going to give all these stats on paper and I'm going to deliver it. But you're buying, basically what you're buying with that car is you're buying a modern car that's really 30 years old.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate resto mod.
Yeah, for
like,
3 million quid.
Yeah, no, but look, so there we have it. I say I don't think Tony's changed his mind.
No,
I haven't changed my mind, but I will admit I was being purposefully antagonistic about the car.
Just winding them up
until this point. I don't think because of our early comments that we're going to be getting T.50 drive experiences.
No.
But you never know. There might be a customer out there who's willing to let us have a little go or sit in a passenger seat or do something. Who knows?
Or we can both go.
Oh, there we go. And then you're gonna have nothing to say about the 3 seats at that point. Anyway, let's move on to the other big hitter. Pun intended, the Cybertruck. So now this is not a car that usually enters into our realm, although you are a trucker.
I am, yeah.
You like your trucks.
Yeah,
use them in the business quite a lot. This is obviously an EV, it's a Tesla, then it's not a company that we talk about all that much here on the podcast. Again, especially not in a positive light. But this is a weird, wacky looking thing.
Yeah.
And supposedly it's finally now in production. I think a lot of people assumed it was never going to make production. We were never going to see it. It was a bit of a Elon Musk scam. But no, the cars are supposedly hitting the road now. We've seen a couple of early reviews from I'll be honest, what feels like friends of the brand. Let's say there haven't been too many real journalistic reviews as of yet. I watched the Marcus Brownlee video. I think you watched the Carwow video.
Yeah.
So there's a handful of things that stood out to me about the car or the truck. It does feel like it's got a few
flaws.
Yeah. Couple of sort of Tesla predictable quality issues, which I get is around the stainless steel panels, and that's all very difficult.
Yeah.
Do you see it had the world's longest window wiper?
That sounds like. I mean, the windscreen sounds like the most expensive thing you're ever going to buy.
Yeah. Or the replacement of and just a few things that you're like, oh, they've kind of thought about that a bit late in the day. They've really focused on having the beer bottle opener on the tailgate and forgotten about the rear view camera.
I mean, the thing that done me is that why do you want a bulletproof, unless you live in America, why do you want a bulletproof truck? I mean...
Well, this is the bit actually which I misunderstood until I watched the content. Of course, the bulletproof part is the headline grabber. It's dings and scratches and car parks and bumping into things. I mean, that fundamentally, most people around the world bump their cars into things all the time.
But can I tell you, most people that own trucks and vans really don't give a toss.
Fair. But if it's a utility vehicle or just to be used, I get it. I don't think it's the world's most important thing.
If you get a little dent, it's 50 quid to ping it out.
Fine, but this won't get a dent.
Well, good. Fair.
Okay, sure,
whatever.
The other thing which I thought was shocking though with that stainless steel, because there's no door handles, the fingerprint thing, did they talk about that in Carwow? The car's going to get and what if a bird poos on it?
Yeah.
The staining, the fingerprints, that will be all a nightmare.
Yeah.
As will the big glass to clean. But in general, I really like it. Do you know why? Because holy crap, is it futuristic?
Well, yeah, I get it, but
it's so different, mate.
Yeah.
It's like they really have... Okay, they didn't totally deliver on what they initially promised. Like, it is a little bit different to that first concept, but fundamentally, it is very close to what they first promised. And it looks like nothing else.
Yeah.
It kind of goes like nothing else.
Yeah.
It is out there, and we were talking last week about the design of automobiles. Heck, there you go, delivered right in front of us, something that looks like nothing else, which, okay, I think it's going to be a DeLorean of the future. We're going to look back at it being like, lol. But good on them for having a good old go at stirring the pot.
Yeah, but Elon Musk, one, is very, very good at that, by the way. And secondly, he's a mass-produced Gordon Murray. I mean, he's literally thought outside the box. Because again, if you're building a pickup truck for the world, right, which is what he's done. This will be mass produced. This truck, whatever it is. There's no point in him trying to compete with Volkswagen or Ford or any of these big truck makers. And even if it's aimed at the biggest truck markets in America and Australia, well, how many pickup trucks do we see there? Even if it's aimed at them, there's no point in just bringing another one that looks exactly the same as an electric. So he's had to think outside the box and build this complete contraption, what I can see, and try and mix it up a bit.
Well, the thing is, because he does way more than the Gordon Murray, he does have direct rivals. The F-150 Lightning from Ford, the Rivian truck, which we saw plenty of in LA.
Oh, the Rivian, I forgot about that.
Chevy one had remember we saw that, the LA Auto Show that big. So I think he definitely does have, in terms of powertrain, deliverables, usability, functionality, he has some very direct rivals in America.
I was thinking more the combustion rival.
Yeah,
that's what I had in my head.
So from an electric truck rival, he's got some big rivals out in the US that haven't quite made it over here yet. But I think where he's been different is that classic Tesla side of things, trying to think
outside the box,
and into the future. So, there's plenty of it that we could talk about on the Cybertruck, but we'll move on. The bit I really want to focus on, did you see that it has 48 volt batteries? For the low wattage batteries, 48 volts, not 12 volts, 48.
Oh, is it?
Now, apparently this is something which has been talked about in the industry for like decades. Automotive manufacturers saying, oh yeah, we're going to upgrade 24 volts. Oh, actually, we're going to go to 48 because supposedly with the increased battery size, you can have a lot less wires, a lot less cabling is needed. And it's just lighter infrastructure, full stop. So, as our cars become more and more computer-based and more stuff requires, power, the thought would be to increase the size because then you can reduce, keep the weight down, essentially.
Yeah.
But manufacturers seem to be loath to do it, supposedly from a safety and reliability point of view. Supposedly. By the way, do you mind just flicking that switch on the radiator? It's just suddenly got a bit cold again. Just, bang, well done. But Tesla would be like, well, F you, we're going for it. We're going to build our own and put it in place. Now, a lot of Musk and Tesla fans were saying, classic Elon, just cracking on and doing it himself. He's not going to sit around and wait for all these other manufacturers. But
he's always done that, though.
A few industry heads have come out saying, well, there is a kind of reason. It's not just manufacturers' reliance on suppliers and slow moving chains and things like that. There is a genuine question about 48 volts and infrastructure and safety and reliability. So it's either going to be one of his big moves, a bit like the supercharger network, that's going to transform the industry, and that's the bit of tech which is going to come out of the Cybertruck that everyone's going to go, holy crap, we've got to catch up, we've got to get that now. Or it could be that car's slightly doomed. It could be the thing that caused a lot of issues there.
Yeah. And did you get range and price figures?
Yeah, all a little bit less. Well, price was more and range was less than originally expected, but basically in line with the market.
Yeah, in line with the market. Yeah,
which I guess is to be expected. It's not really our kind of thing in Europe, is it? Big electric trucks in this country we haven't really seen that too much yet. I think
around the world, probably maybe America, but around the world, mate. I haven't really seen it at all.
Well, obviously America lead the world in terms of truck culture, but
Australia would have something to say about that, by the way.
Well, yeah, but definitely not the electric side of it.
No. But I mean, every other car was a pickup.
Fair. You're probably right. So anyway, interesting. Let us know your thoughts below. Now that the reviews are out on both, I'm sure most of you have been very excited about the T.50 and is going to be saying, so, we told you so. But anyway, now we can all judge the fact that they're actually out there and being driven, and we can hear people's thoughts. Anyway, you went shopping at the weekend.
Oh, mate. I did, yeah.
Tell me everything.
Well, my girlfriend passed a driving test last week.
She's 17.
So she's 18. No, she's not. But yeah, she passed her driving test, had really no need to drive previously. And I said, well, you better drive. So she's driving, passed the test. So I said, well, get your little car. So you can have whatever you want. She said, well, I just want a little car. She don't do loads of miles.
Sure.
So what do you want? I just want a really little car. Fiesta, I have anything. Little Kia, I have anything. I don't care. So we went shopping.
Where did you go?
We went everywhere, mate. We went to Vauxhall, Ford, Peugeot, Kia.
Oh, 208's nice.
Well, I'm going to come back to that.
Okay.
Where else did we go? We went to Nissan. We went to Skoda.
Ticked all the boxes.
We went everywhere.
I'm guessing you didn't look at any electric cars.
Well, that's where you're wrong.
Hello.
See? So I didn't enjoy myself. Let's be honest. It was like a busman's holiday for me, and I don't really like. I'm actually the easiest person to sell cars to in the world.
Really?
Yeah, I literally, mate. I don't surrender.
Did any of the dealers see you coming?
No, no. Well,
go,
we didn't buy
no.
anything. But obviously, I've got a couple of cheaper little hatchbacks in stock. So I got a little Audi A1 in stock, a 18-month-old car, and I've just took in part exchange a little Hyundai i30 thing. So I let her drive them as well. She said, yeah, I like them. I preferred the Audi, but the Hyundai was much more loaded for less money. So we had another jaunt round. She really liked the Corsa, the little Corsa.
Okay.
So obviously, as I'm sure you know, the car markets are gone back round the other way now, and all these manufacturers are doing deals on new cars now. 0% deposit, £200 a month,
And $5,000 off.
£5,000 off, and all that jazz. So
I saw that on some M3 Tourings, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's not £5,000; it's more like 12.
Yeah.
But so we went and saw the Corsa get it on a lease deal, 6,000 miles a year, blah 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 blah. And they're all much for much. They're all a little bit of deposit or no deposit or whatever. It's so hard, mate, trying to buy. Even for me, I mean, I can just go and buy anything I like, obviously in the trade, but I wanted her to sit down and have a feel around, and so she had a familiarisation of what she liked. She really liked the little Corsa.
Okay.
And she really liked the Peugeot.
Yeah.
The little 208.
Yeah, electric or the combustion?
So we looked at both.
Okay.
As in,
such a cool little car.
yeah. And she said that was the prettiest car, and that is what she steered towards. So then we started looking at figures and stuff, because I just thought, well, we'll just get you a new
These
one.
were for new cars?
Brand new car.
Okay.
We'll just get you a new little car. I haven't got to worry. You keep ringing me up saying the car's broke down. It's,
Sure,
it's
sure.
brand new car. Just put her in it and forget about it. But when you start looking at figures and then leases and where they are, and the 208 was like still an 11-week wait.
11-week wait for the
car.
Sure.
So, but when I had started delving into the costs and whatnot, I thought, well, I'll just get you a year-old one. I'll just buy you a used one that's a year old.
Sure.
And then we compared it to the electric car. So I said, well, because she don't do any miles, she'd get an allowance from the council to park.
Perfect.
Because obviously she lives at home and she works near London, so she would drive in. If she had an electric car, you get an allowance, which would be like, it's like a tenth of what you'd pay for a combustion car. It's a tiny amount. So we looked at that, but then when you still look at the price of electric car, like the 208 is still nearly double the price of the
for
combustion car.
A year-old E28 and a year-old combustion engine car?
No, so a brand new combustion car and a brand new EV.
Oh, yeah, fine.
The price difference is nearly double. It's not quite, but it's not far off.
Sure.
So when you consider you don't do loads of miles, the cost is still too far out. It's miles off. And then a lot of these, you have to be careful, guys, with these lease deals that these finance companies do, because they're basic contract hire deals. Mm-hmm. So they're not PCP deals, they're contract hire. What they advertise on the radio most of the time, they're, these highlighted, no deposit, £200 a month, they're contract hire deals. So you basically lease a car for 3 years and you give it back. You never own it, you're just renting it. well, that's all right if your circumstances don't change, and within a year you don't get bored of it, and you want to come, you can't come out. You pay the contract up. There'll be a huge fees. Obviously, when you buy a normal PCP deal or a used car, you're free to come in and out. It's a lot more flexible. So when I was looked at the numbers, and I really tried to look at it as a consumer. First of all, it's so confusing for the consumer. It's not confusing for me because I do it as a job. But like when you think like, I always use like your sister or my sister as a comparison, a normal punter that wants to go and buy a car, no wonder they all look for so long and try and do their research, because it's not easy, mate.
Because of the amount of deals they're offering and what they're pitching, or what's confusing? It's
not just the deals, it's the information you have to consume. I get it, obviously, but my girlfriend was, the salesman's telling me all these things. She's looking at me thinking, what's he saying? What's he saying? It's so much information to consume, the difference between this and the difference between that, and you can have that level, you can have this, you can have this, you can do this, you can do that. And obviously I am completely eyes wide open to it all, but it's only when you actually go and do it for yourself as a consumer, as a punter, you think, flipping hell, this is actually not easy to go and buy it.
Also, not that much fun.
It's not that much fun, because once you're 2 or 3 hours in and you've been to 2 or 3 different dealers and you've asked the same questions to different salesmen, and some salesmen are nicer than others, obviously, you think, I just want to get a car now.
Yeah.
I just want to buy a car.
Yeah.
So
come on now.
So we come away from it all, and I just said, I'll just buy you a year-old one in the trade. I'll just buy you a year-old car, and you could just jump in that, and we'll change it every year and be done with it. But I just thought, I mean, there might even, it's not really a thing, you can't scale it up, but I mean, there's a business idea in there for me, as in the knowledge that I have, I could literally sell all my knowledge to the general public and help them buy cars.
Well, but I don't think it's even that, right? Because I'll take my mum as an example. You know, when she bought her last Evoque, went in, spec'd it up, loving life. Specking section went on a little bit long because they're asked, do you want this pack? And if you get this pack, you can't have that. And you want that, you can't do like. So she was a bit like, okay, I was excited at the first, and then it went a bit long, and I couldn't have that, and that's going to delay things. Then she obviously had the long wait because she got caught up in the real disaster of delays. Yeah. But the bit that's killed her, and this happened the last 2 times she's collected cars, you go in and you've got to not only sign 1,000 bits of paperwork, but then it's the upsell on collection. Yeah. Now, I've got to just make sure that I've talked you through this, and this. Can you decide, would you like tyre protection? Yeah. Would you like damper? Now, this will get what this will do. And at that point, can I not get the car? Yeah. No, we've got to give you the handover now. Yeah. We're now going to pull. This is the music. And it goes, right, cool, can I drive away? No, hold on a sec. We're going to get Barry down. Barry's our handover executive. Yeah. He's going to come and share the infotainment. Isn't it the same as the last one? Well, yeah, but no, it's a little bit... You're there for 2.5. I just want the car. Yeah. And I think, if anything, manufacturers have overcomplicated it by trying to simplify it, trying to add all these fandangos, and especially in customer service, and and
it's all about the experience, apparently,
and offering every product they might want has just made it like, oh my god. And I understand why the likes of Polestar and Tesla have little shops in Westfield,
pop-ups,
where you can just pop in and go, I want that car, boom, 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 done. Right, it'll be with you in 3 months.
And don't forget, your mum is half familiar with the
She's
car.
The petrol in our family.
That's what I'm saying.
She loves the cars.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So imagine someone that's really alien to buying cars, or because, mate, don't forget as well, there's quite a lot of people that never go and buy a brand new car, or they might do once in their life and they never do it again. So you imagine them poor buggers that go in and they've always bought used ones, and they've got to a certain age and they've saved some money up, and they can afford a brand new car. And, of what to choose, what spec to have. Because my girlfriend that's what she was saying to me. Well, what's this car got?
Yeah.
What can I have on this one? Has this got Apple CarPlay? Has this got cameras? And they've all got different spec levels, which is fair. Yeah. But explaining it all and all the information and all the finance, and then you got the handover and all that. It's like, you think, flipping hell, no wonder people literally lose the will to live.
Yeah. There is something in a simplified experience, and I'm sure there are lots of websites and dealerships and obviously independents 100% that are
that's what we do.
That are doing that. But and I'm sure some manufacturers are better than others. But yeah, every experience I've had at a main, my sister, when she bought her Mini, that was the same thing. Just headaches. And then the worst part is the customer service always seems to be so poor, because you got these sales people who are desperately trying to, tickle their boxes. And I don't blame them at all, by the way, because obviously they're told.
It's not their fault.
It's not their fault in any shape or form. But then my sister goes, "Oh, can you put my private plate on?" And they go, "Oh, so that's very difficult.
I've got to speak to admin."
Yeah, I got to speak to admin, and I think there's going to be a charge. It's £80 charge.
Yeah.
You won't just put my plate on.
They don't know how to do it.
They don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
We can't cover that cost, I'm afraid. Margins are too tight. I've already done you a bit of a deal on this.
Yeah.
So it is in a world where everything's changing, and we keep hearing that the youth of today aren't that interested in owning cars, and there's the thoughts of car share and all this stuff. I don't know. It feels like that needs to somehow change ever so slightly. Or that needs to be.
But it has changed. The independent market is not like that. It's completely different, which is another reason why it exists.
But independents aren't selling new cars.
No, they don't sell new cars. Yeah,
the new car buying experience, I think, has to change up a bit. But I'm way more interested to understand, what was your favourite of all the little cars?
I mean,
no, come on.
I didn't.
The Peugeot's nice, isn't it? Just the steering wheel's too low and the dash is too high.
The steering wheel's tiny on the Peugeot, but Peugeot's firstly have always made pretty cars. Same as Citroën, they always make lovely little cars. They always have done. The Peugeot steering wheel of last few years has always been tiny. We don't get many Peugeots in, but they're really, really small.
Really small, and then the dash sits really, really high, so you feel like the steering wheel's in your crotch, and then the dash is at your eyebrow level.
But what I will say, and what I can take away from the experience, and I've said this before, because I'm a bit blasé with high-end stuff, because it's predominantly what I do. Normal cars are bloody brilliant now.
Brilliant, mate.
Like a normal 10 or 15 grand hatchback. There's absolutely nothing wrong with one of them at all.
You know what? I've thought about so much, and maybe I've said it. Like, there's a huge part of me that just wants to have a really nicely spec'd A1.
Just a normal car.
But that sounds awful to say, because A1's a friggin' lovely luxury car. But even just an up. Not even an up GTL. I just want because they're so good now, little hatchbacks.
Yeah.
And Europe, we're hatchback kings.
We are, yeah.
And it's I almost miss having a little run around, a little tiny little hatchback. And as you say, they're base level. Even I banged on about Qashqai long enough. What about the new Prius? New Prius is amazing, mate. There's so many nice cars.
It's nearly 40 grand though, that car. Oh, yeah. That's a few quid. That's the problem.
That's the killer. But there are lots of nice little cars. i20, we love the i20.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that. So
loads of used cars, and they're going to get cheaper, by the way. But there's loads of used cars out there at the minute that normal family cars. They're just such good value for money.
Maybe next week we can touch on some current bargains. Some current, a used market pick. Sam and Tony's. Let's do it as a Christmas.
Christmas special.
Here's our Christmas, not Christmas special, because we've got that coming the week after, or 2 weeks away. But our, what's it called? Christmas wish list.
Yeah.
They would do that.
Right.
So if you're looking to buy a car this Christmas for you or your partner,
I'm just going to reel off all my stock.
It's a good idea, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'll reel off half of it, you reel off the other half. Yeah. I've seen this really nice. It's someone called Gravel Wood.
Oh, that's me.
Incredible. Well, look, we're almost ready to wrap things up. The only thing I wanted to touch on is, did you see that JLR came out saying that they're going to call back a lot of their products to upgrade the security systems?
Oh, that's been going on for months, but yeah.
Oh, has it?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that's
been going on for months. Just made it through
months.
to the media. We just got some news reports of that. So they're trying to tackle this insane crime that's happening, especially here in the UK, but I think globally for at least Range Rover products. You must have seen that viral clip of the Cullinan getting stolen as well.
But everything's getting stolen, mate.
The Cullinan clip's insane though, because it's literally, it looks like two guys turn up. This car is parked on a driveway outside a house, and they seem to have a big antenna. And obviously, I suppose someone's in the vehicle, I guess, with the laptop trying to like program the key, and there's a person outside with a big antenna walking around underneath the house trying to beam the what's it called, keyless car. What's it called?
Yeah, they're trying to.
You don't need to push a button.
No.
Keyless Go.
Yeah.
The Keyless Go key inside the house.
Yeah.
They're transmitting the signal from that via the antenna to the laptop in the car. Vroom, car starts up, off they go.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, it takes 30 seconds. That's how they nick all the Range Rovers. There's another way they nick them now. They go through the boot. So there's a wire on the boot, the back of Range Rovers that you can short and it owns the car. Right?
Really?
Yep. That's been going on for a while. But they're obviously Range Rover are trying to sort all this out. But they constantly bring upgrades out. This is not just happened now. This has been going on for years, mate. It's just got worse, essentially. But Range Rover are always upgrading their alarm systems. And the biggest problem now is that obviously these thieves have got clever and they know where the trackers and the alarms are. So they break into them, they just pull them out and take them.
Yeah. I mean,
so it's a disaster.
As clever as the anti-theft person is, there's a theft person who's as clever. So
well, the anti-theft bloke's always reacting to the theft bloke, isn't he? He's always behind.
Sure.
Because he's always trying to bring out better stuff for the thief not to crack.
There we go. So let's wait and see. But fingers crossed for JLR that turns things around, because I think I want a Range Rover.
I will say, by the way, some Range Rovers now are looking unbelievable value.
Yeah, that's why I say it.
Yeah,
I saw a couple, because I drive past. There's a Land Rover dealer that I go back and forth when I go to my parents, and I go past them. I saw a couple of gems in there, big new Range Rovers. I'm not that obsessed with the new Sport, I've got to say.
No,
but big new, and I was going, what? But also the old shape SVs and SVAs.
I had someone trying to part exchange one of them the other day.
Oh my God, they are looking lovely right now.
Against my G-Wagon, I really didn't want to tell him how much his car was worth. But he literally cried when I told him. But
bloody hell. Well, anyway, as I said, next week, stay tuned for our Christmas wish list or Christmas gift list or car shopping advice. That'll be coming at you next week, Thursday, as per normal. If you haven't noticed the last few weeks, we've been releasing the audio-only version of these podcasts a few days earlier than the video version. So yeah, if you want to listen to us, if you do listen to us, they tend to go out on a Tuesday or Wednesday now, and then of course the video versions go out on a Thursday. So wherever you're listening to us, you can subscribe or follow so you don't miss out on any future episodes. We've only got a couple more episodes to go before Christmas and our Christmas break. So make sure you're staying tuned so you don't miss out on those. If you want to follow Tony in the meantime, he's at Tony Gravelwood Car Sales. I'm at Seen Through Glass on most social media platforms, and you can follow this podcast at Behind the Glass __podcast. We'll be back with you next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.